Good morning, children. Hope you are all doing well. Have you heard of the book Wings of Fire, a biography of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam? It is inspiring to know how a poor fisherman's son overcame all odds to become a great scientist and then the President of India. Today, we are going to read another inspiring story of Helen Keeler from our course book. Children, many a times life throws us in such difficult situations for which we are not prepared. It is from the lives of such determined people like Helen Keeler inspire us to sail through the sea of troubles and be single-minded to achieve our goal. Let us read on and find how Helen never gave up and emerged a winner. Helen Keeler. Helen was born in Alabama, a southeastern US state, in 1880. She was a cheerful and a healthy baby. Her parents were Kate Adams Keeler and Colonel Arthur Keeler. Her father worked for a newspaper. She grew up on a family's large farm called Ivory Green. When Helen was almost 2 years old, she contracted an illness. She got very sick and had a high fever for many days. Helen became deaf and blind as a result of an unknown illness. Now, let's understand what we read. Helen was born in Alabama, a state of US, in the year 1880. When she was 2 years old, she fell ill and as a result of it, she became deaf and blind. Her parents tried their best for her treatment but were not successful. Perhaps medical science was not so advanced 150 years ago. With the passage of time, Helen developed her own method of communicating with the people around. Keeler was very intelligent and tried to understand her surroundings through touch, smell, and taste. However, she realized that her family members communicated with their mouths instead of using signs as she did. She would become wild and unruly when she was unable to join in a conversation. She would kick and scream when angry. Her parents knew they needed help, so they hired a tutor named Anne Sullivan. She was just 14 years older than Helen. She was strict, but she had a lot of energy. Anne began the task of teaching Helen by manually signing into her hand. Anne spelled letters with her fingers on Helen's palm, but Helen didn't understand what the letters meant. She used to be confused. Now let's understand what we read. As she grew up, Helen learned to communicate with her family through sign language. Helen was intelligent enough and soon realized that her family members communicated with each other through spoken words. Being deaf and blind, she was stuck in her own dark world. It was frustrating for her to be left out from all family conversations. This resulted in her becoming a very spoiled and stubborn child. It was then her parents decided to hire Anne Sullivan as tutor for her. At that time, Helen was 10 and her tutor was 24 years old. Her tutor started teaching her by writing letters with her fingers on Helen's palm. But Helen was unable to connect the letters with the words and the physical objects around her. Now, let's look at those two highlighted words. The first word, unruly. It means not disciplined. Let's make a sentence. The child's unruly behavior irritated the teacher. The next word, manually. It means by hand. The sentence could be, in villages, people still draw water manually from the well. Now let's read further. To help Helen understand better, Anne took her to a water pump and let cold water run over her hand. Then she wrote the letters W, A, T, E, R in Helen's palm again and again. Suddenly, Helen understood the letters spelled out in her palm. Now she knew that everything had a name. She knew that water meant the substance flowing over her hand. Now let's comprehend what we read. To remove the confusion in Helen's mind and make her understand things better, Anne took her to a water pump. Anne fingerspelled the word W-A-T-E-R on one of Helen's palm as she ran water over her other hand. Suddenly, Helen understood what water meant and realized that everything on this earth has a name. Children, her tutor, Anne Sullivan, transformed Helen's life. It was due to her teacher's hard work, patience, and perseverance that Helen was able to connect the words with the physical objects around her. That's all for the day. With this, we come to the end of Helen Keeler Part 1. Your assignment, read the lesson. Thank you. Have a good day.